On this visit to the Film Lounge, a singer is deconstructed in an innovative music video. Two gunslingers lose their cool and their continuity. A filmmaker documents artists at work in a fishbowl. An independent film comes to life in a forest. A music video explores the deceptions of memory. And a cutting-edge arts group unites people through animation. Strap yourself in for another ride at the Film Lounge.
Funding for the Film Lounge has been provided by Produce Iowa, State Office of Media Production, building a statewide network of support for the film community in Iowa. More information on how you can connect is available at produceiowa.com. And the Iowa Arts Council, powering Iowa to build and sustain culturally vibrant communities by cultivating creativity, learning, and participation in the arts. Learn more at iowaculture.gov.
I met Elizabeth Moen a few years prior to this, and I've done a couple music videos before this for her. This is my third music video for her, I think. And so we had a pretty good working relationship at this point, to the point where I think she was pretty confident that she would give me a couple songs and just be like, this is the vibe that I'm getting from my new album. This is kind of like the direction I want my career to go, I guess. This is the aesthetic that I'm trying to put out. I would say that there's probably 3 different types of animation in it. One I would describe as like patchwork animation. I basically exported the video and I had all these frames. I exported them as like 15 frames a second or whatever. And then I put them in Photoshop and then I cut them out frame by frame. And I would just distort it and layer things over it and change the color each frame, basically. I've been doing some stuff like what I call rotoscope animation, I guess. Basically using the rotoscope tool in After Effects to create like movement, I guess, on the frames themselves. And then I just did some like hand-drawn animation in Photoshop, basically, that I put together, that I think tied the piece together in the different aspects. The process overall probably took around 60 hours, something like that. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little more, I don't know. There's a lot of late nights. I thought it worked great when I first heard the song, and I thought, you know, it worked really well with that style of animation because basically with that kind of patchwork animation, you see moments, like you see time kind of passing. You see like remnants of her face as she was singing like 2 seconds ago and stuff like that. So you're really seeing the piece kind of like evolve and morph, I guess, and you're seeing it. Basically time's being visualized, I think, in a way, and I thought that was really interesting. I thought that worked really well with my style of animation. She seemed to really like it, and everyone around me seemed to really like it. I know I've gotten some work from that video that people specifically cited that video and been like, that was crazy. Can you do something like that for me? Or what else are you working on right now? Like, what other styles, I guess, are you thinking about?
I really overthought this, but keeping it to myself. I'm trying to stay relaxed, but time hasn't been much help. If I could guess just how long you'll be out there with me in mind, how long I'll be in your soul, how long will it take? If you change obvious that I care. But I hope this isn't too much. The situation's unfair, 'cause it was all wrong with time. I'm trying to get used to that. At times she isn't always right, and doesn't always have your back. You wait, but that's alright. Hope you two can get along. But I guess I could've called back. But part of me hopes I'm wrong.
I got started in filmmaking as kind of a hobby, just from doing school projects with my friends. And then as we got older, we started putting more and more work into it. And then senior year, I wanted to do a big project for the film fest that we had. The idea of the film is there's this thing called continuity errors, where from one cut to another, things don't always make sense. And this is sort of building off that, when these continuity errors sort of are real and are actually happening to the characters. And then we just kind of used whatever we had. We were limited just by the tools we had. I mean, we didn't have any fancy cameras or anything. We were filming with an iPhone. And we just grabbed random stuff and threw it on the dirt road that's just out behind my house. I used an iPhone because that's what I had. It was my friend's iPhone. It wasn't even mine. It just had a better camera than my phone did. It was the best camera out of any of my friends, so we just used that. When I went to edit it, I realized there were certain things we forgot to film, or certain things we just didn't do. So I had to sort of re-piece the story together. There was the one scene in the film where I showed the iPhone at one of the Cowboys' sunglasses, and when I was filming it, I didn't even think about they can obviously see my reflection because it was sunny and I couldn't really see, and we were on a time crunch because the sun was setting. But when I was editing it in post, I actually thought it made a really good addition to the film. Also, the day we filmed, it was really, really windy. So all of the audio had a bunch of wind in it. So I couldn't use any of the audio from it. So I had to manually do every footstep, every rustle of the clothing, I just manually put all of the sound effects in for the entire video. I was voted like best film overall, and I won 2 of the other awards, I think, for best editing and best like sound or something. I'm not sure exactly what they were. But I won 3 awards out of, I think, 9 that were given at Film Fest.
Paintalica is a collaborative group of artists from multiple disciplines. Started at the University of Iowa, early 2000s, and we've grown from 3 people to up to 20 people, kind of a mixed bag. From show to show, we usually do 1 show a year. We were asked to do an installation for the Witching Hour, which is a festival of that kind of celebrates the creative process, and this was for the inaugural year of that particular festival in Iowa City. We were basically in a fishbowl. The gallery where we were was one side of it was a glass wall where people could watch the whole thing develop, and then we also had a makeshift cage that we put outside where we did some chainsaw carving too.
Because Witching Hour is a festival that kind of celebrates the unknown and the creative process, they thought it would be a cool approach to have some film documentation of the process throughout, and then ideally screen whatever unknown result from that filmmaking process as part of the festival. I love the idea of exploring the creative process and kind of cracking it open for for the public to see, which is a rarity. You don't really get that opportunity without, being a part of it, really.
In the collaborative process, you are responding to the actions of others. And as time goes on, we're also responding to the relationships that we have with others. And the deeper the relationship, the more freedom we have to push each other's buttons.
You make a comment, they made a kind of pact when they were in grad school together to, go into each other's studios and not be afraid to hurt each other's feelings.
You are being antagonized by different approaches, and you're responding to them in a way that pulls something, I think, a little bit more pure out of you.
There's so much in this world, there's so much kind of tiptoeing around what we really want to say as human beings, and so I love that you're let's just cut to the heart of the matter and what's working, in one piece of art, what's working really well and what's not, and you're constantly sort of encouraging each other to be better and dig deeper.
Yeah.
And I think that's at the heart of you guys as Paintalica, and also this process that we underwent together with making the film.
Paintalica began as a way of antagonizing each other, and it started off with 3 of us who were really good friends in grad school. One of the problems that I think we encountered in grad school is really polite critique. We made a pact that we were going to try to hurt each other's feelings every time we went in each other's studios, and that was born out of love and also a willingness to push buttons and a willingness to be pushed. And the hope was that by being brutally honest, you are free to explore ideas and to play. And so Paintalica began with those seeds, and it's grown from just 3 guys getting a bunch of beer and staying up all night and making work to larger groups from all over the country. And it's I don't know, for whatever reason we all keep wanting to come back.
Oh yeah, where's Dennis? Dennis should be. This is the guy that talks about.
That's the guy to interview.
That's the guy who. Hi, Davis. How you doing? Huh?
I'm surgery when it went down.
Literally. Oh. Now, Davis, we've been over this before. No, none of that. No.
Hoping I'll never see you kids again.
Yeah, Dennis, that's another thing we've talked about.
What are you laughing at? You know who these guys are?
No, I'm trying to learn.
They get together once a year, pat each other on the back, say they did a good job. Someday we're all gonna be famous and rich. Then they go home and complain about each other behind the backs. And then they get back together again, pretend nothing happened.
So what's the plan for today? Here we're gonna go check out the space and get our eyes on that. We can stay and probably work in the lobby area for a little while if we wanted to. We won't be able to get in the space till 3 o'clock, so we have this window of time between now and 3 to draw. And we can draw there. We can end up going over to Dave's house again. We could do whatever. But Blick is right there too. So if we needed paper, we can get paper.
Paintalica is a way to check in and see what it is that I'm honestly interested in. And the great thing about the work with Paintalica is that we go away and sometimes we don't see each other, we don't get together for a whole year. This time it's been just a few months, but usually it's a whole year. But the entire time we're apart, we're thinking about the work that we did last time, and we're thinking about what we want to bring to the next time. I think we're looking for ways to laugh and to get engaged in what we're making. And it spills over into our own practice too. So it's a thermometer, I guess. It's a barometer. It's some kind of gauge. This is Dennis. He showed up a couple of years ago at the Iowa State Fair. He is also some kind of measure of truth, and he calls bull on everyone all the time, even if they don't deserve it. So that's, and he talks. Well, I'll let you talk for yourself.
Yakety yakety yak. That's all this guy does. Yak. Say a bunch of smart shit. Thinks everybody wants to listen. Well, here you are, humoring him.
What do you do? What's your occupation?
I'm a dancer.
What kind of dance?
You know, ballet, modern dance, Muppet stuff.
Muppet stuff. You laugh at. Oh my gosh.
Never see this kind of This is like light years ahead of anything you ever seen.
So today was a big planning day, just getting creative juices flowing a little bit, doing some drawings, and working towards this moment, getting in the space, actually putting our eyes on it, figuring out where we're going to go with that, getting materials on site, and now it's a matter of getting the wall protected. We're going to put plastic up, and before we put the canvases up, we'll put tarps down. By the end of the night tonight, we'd like to have vinyls on the wall, canvases placed, drawings made, ideas pretty much in place for how we're going to approach things tomorrow. We probably won't have, necessarily a solid prescription of what needs to happen on the canvas or on there, but we'll have a place to start, a jumping off point.
Animal, I'm nothing more than an animal in search of another animal to tame and claim as my own. You danced for me, sang me songs, and you spread your wings, flashed your colors and lured me into your nest for the night.
Maybe we can just walk around and take a look right now, and then be out of here by 10. Look at these with what we're going to be putting on those and on the logs in mind.
The triptych, I think we can think about it in terms of, I don't know, whether the narrative elements or the figurative elements, but maybe start to get a little bit more clear about that.
You got the big totem right in the middle of the big one. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Hey, you're not supposed to make it all for us.
I'm sorry.
Now we're supposed to make it all for him.
Yes. Okay. Please. These look pretty snappy. This guy's so rich.
Part of me wants to say that I don't know if we necessarily need to plan it out, the three paintings. I think the drawings, it's just a warm up to just let it rip.
Yeah, I'd say that. And then the conversation between something different on the paintings, because where we talk about painting some of the drawings perhaps?
Yeah.
So there's conversation.
We have these walls and then like satellite drawings that are hang outside the things.
Well, one of my ideas for the log would be that club right there, that blue totem club.
Club is pretty sweet.
And I think it could be something that, doesn't even have a base. It could just be like, maybe put it in this space horizontally, just like on a stand or something, that thing, just as an object, and just paint it blue and white. And paint, it could just be smoothed out. We could glue some spikes into it.
We could extend it with the log from the state fair, like one of those logs,
right,
like make it longer.
Right.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I like that.
I kind of like it standing up though. I don't know. It might lose something. I think it would be strong if it was standing up. It would be cool on the ground too, but I think it's different. It's a different.
Can we get it to stand?
On some blocks?
Can we get it to stand like that? Yeah, we could
get it to stand. What about this? What if it was the club on the ground?
Upside down.
The club, well, yeah, upside down would be awesome. Or the club on the ground with there's some of these things with these like kind of geysers coming out of it, and so it could be laying on the ground with a mouth shooting a geyser out of it or something like that. So it has the vertical and the horizontal thing going on.
If we have time, add on to it. It is a good form.
Yes. Start with the really good looking club.
Yeah.
And go from there. Yeah.
Have a puddle of blood
But also, I mean, you know, if we just smooth it out, and then we could finish it off just with paint.
We could do it in the Delft
all those
style.
imagery could, oh yeah, where'd that come from? Come right on.
I guess.
Is the wood wet?
They should be dry by now.
Right then.
Yeah.
Figured that was easy.
Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up.
Come on, kick the funk. Rock to the rhythm, go. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause ghetto funk has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto funk with the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause the squad has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto.
Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up.
Here we go. Rock to the rhythm, go. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause ghetto funk has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto funk with the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause the squad has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto. That's right.
Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Well, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up.
Set?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, guys, we're gonna do one. Everyone settle, please. Roll sound. Camera.
Speed.
Slate, please.
This is scene 15 Charlie, take 1 Sierra.
We're here today making my short film, The Burial.
Action.
Hey, get up. Let's go, get up, come on. Haley's sick, we gotta get out of here. Come on, let's go.
Cut.
Cut
That's
it.
good. Let's move on.
We've got about 18 to 20 people with us most of the time. They come from California, New York, Kansas, Minneapolis, and of course Iowa. And we are rolling around the Northeast Iowa landscape and in the town of Lansing, Iowa, just shooting our movie. It's a short piece of a feature film that I have wanted to make for the last 5 years.
I just want to get to the lead up.
It's about a group of young people that go out into the woods and discover an undocumented ancient Indian burial mound. Okay. They disturb it for their own selfish reasons, and it really unlocks a sickness that they all carry with them.
Yeah, like if she really does go and grab me.
Yeah.
Let's get John or somebody with a fogger behind that big tree.
The director of photography, or DP, on this film is Chad Grippentrog. He is a cinematographer for much larger projects like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and Intervention, to name a few. Our relationship is, it's very integral to the making of the film. We work very closely together. We have the scenes, we create a shot list together, and then we go out and do it.
Well, let's go look at our...
And it kind of is blowing that way, which is nice.
Okay.
DP is the director of photography. They work with the director to basically help create his vision through composition, through camera choices, lens choices, lighting, movement, all that, and tell the story. Basically, that's what DP's job is to tell the story as best you can.
This is scene 16 Bravo, take 1.
I normally work on really high-budget shows. There's a person for every job and a lot of people for those jobs. And here it's a scaled down crew, but everybody's really happy to be here. And a lot of us are, volunteering time, but we just want to get the project done, and it's something we're all proud of. I think it just makes it more fun. We can take more chances with things.
Let's cut.
Cutting!
I'm very fortunate to have the help of all of this amazing cast and this amazing crew, and the community of Lansing, Iowa, Alameda County. I couldn't have made all of this happen without all of these people.
And action.
It's all right, it's all right.
What's wrong with her?
How should I know?
You're her boyfriend. Do something.
Well,
Help her.
she's never done this
No,
before.
she's...
You all right? It's gonna be okay.
Okay, let's cut.
Cutting!
Yeah. That was really good.
Oh.
We did a music film for an Extravision song titled "The Dark Where I Can Only Hear." And it was a collaboration with the Extravision lead singer Ryan Steer, myself, and my collaborator John Hennessy Baker. And we started this about 16 months ago, and we started concepting this long-form music video because the song is nearly 8 minutes long. So we knew that we were going to have a solid foundation to build what we wanted to do for this video. So we started with this idea of memory, specifically in relation to loss. Everyone has relationships in their lives, and when they end, I think memories change. And the more you think about memory, the more you think about certain things, certain instances, they tend to shift in your subconscious. And we wanted to kind of approach the music video with that in mind, that we wanted to almost look at these memories in like how your mind would see them and remember like the specific little details that your mind would remember. With our lighting, we almost wanted to make it sort of like more like a horror movie, you know, very high contrast. And I think we did that because often with relationships, when they end, memories become skewed. Memories, they change. What might have been something that was really positive could become something negative over time. And I think that was really interesting for us, and we wanted to use color to sort of convey emotion and convey that memory is able to shift, and it does often, especially in relations to relationships. We actually filmed this over the course of about 8 months, and we just did nights when we could. And I think that really worked for us. It gave us time to like look at the footage and see what was working. There's a lot of shots that didn't make it into the video. I mean, we have a lot of extra footage, and I think that was because of this long process that we really had some time to tinker and sink our teeth into the tone and to the mood of the story. And I think at the end we were all really happy with the mood and the tone that came out through this video.
Look at me.
Told me you could no longer and I heard your steps away. Oh, but they echoed me. And I could not believe you're
Hi, I'm Carlos Ferguson. I'm part of Tiny Circus. We make stop-motion animations with community groups.
I'm Katie. I live in Grinnell currently, Grinnell, Iowa, and I've been part of Tiny Circus since 2012. There are a lot of reasons to dress up throughout the year. There's Mardi Gras, Halloween,
New Year's,
regular old dance parties,
birthdays, Wednesdays.
Yeah, so, well, I'm a monster with a lot of teeth and a couple eyes.
Yeah, I'm a blowfish with spikes. The mission of Tiny Circus is to explore collaboration, and we often use creative process as a thing to gather around.
Tiny Circus believes that everyone is creative, and that's something that is really evident in the projects we make and who we make them with. So we've had anyone from teachers to elementary school students involved in making the same projects, and that kind of creates community while we're making the thing, and it makes everyone really excited about the finished product, and then it wraps everyone into this family that we call Tiny Circus.
Creativity is, in some ways, it was conceptualized as a way to present our process. So it's like looking back at ourselves a little bit. As a group, we talked with each other about, asking people about their experiences with art and whether they thought of themselves as artists, and ultimately came to this idea that using the word art might feel exclusive to people, and so we switched over to using this word creativity. The visual side, as a group, we walked around the house and just sort of picked things up, so we picked up Scrabble tiles and books and thought about how we could be creative with these everyday objects.
And then simultaneously we were working on developing the goals for the audio. It wasn't like we put together a script and had people read it. These were found insights about creativity, and that's one of my favorite parts, is that I feel like I learned a lot and grew in my understanding of creativity throughout that whole process.
That we all are creative. It's happening around us all the time, and it's worth valuing that, just sort of noticing that in yourself and exploring it.
A creative act is one in which you take a chance.
What was the last thing I made? My headbands.
Turkey burgers.
A cut-off t-shirt.
A birthday card for a friend.
I fixed a bike, but that doesn't really count.
So I guess that's the last thing I made. I mean, if that counts.
I used to make rolls and cream puffs.
I used to like markers.
I used to crochet. I used to embroidery. I used to knit.
The last thing I can remember was doing crochet, which I used to do like middle school maybe.
I think middle school.
But I haven't made anything recently.
I think it's more just a question of time. I think there are a lot more other demands on your time right now.
Making something can take like hours, even if it's very little.
The closest I came to being creative was when I was an athlete, running the ball in football.
I want to consider myself a creative person, but I would hesitate to call myself a creative person to anyone else.
I wouldn't say like, yeah, I'm creative, like if I'm like writing down adjectives that describe myself. But then again, like I do enjoy, like I dance and I enjoy making dances. And actually now that I think about it, last thing I made was a dance.
Everybody has creativity.
A lot of creativity does come into stuff you have to do.
It's hard to say why or what it is that sets something off.
And you can be creative in different ways, like in different ways of solving a problem.
I'm satisfied with what I've created when I feel like it solves the problem.
It can be part of anything you do.
Because what you make is your creation.
A creative act is one in which you've got a problem or you've got something to cope with. It's not something that requires talent. Take a chance.
Funding for the Film Lounge has been provided by Produce Iowa, State Office of Media Production, building a statewide network of support for the film community in Iowa. More information on how you can connect is available at produceiowa.com. And the Iowa Arts Council, powering Iowa to build and sustain culturally vibrant communities by cultivating creativity, learning, and participation in the arts. Learn more at iowaculture.gov.